Hi everybody, Ali Akbarian, your resident road safety expert from Mobility Engineering, back again for another Q&A. Thank you very much for tuning in. Keep those questions coming, we love them. And as I always say with my trusty subscribe pillow, please hit the button down there somewhere that looks like this, and please help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. The subscribers are going up, so please give us that support, and we're going to get another one of these pillows and maybe something else as well. So let's get there. We're almost there. All right, so today's question is coming in from our Occupational Therapist Community, and it's a little bit sort of complicated, but we're going to try and explain it as best as possible in a couple of parts. So the question is, I have a client with a PEG, which is a sort of like a feeding tube, and so which is through the abdominal area, and as a result, they can't have any pressure onto their abdomen by the seatbelt in the car. So basically, what do? Can they drive around without the seatbelt? And that's not really ideal, so we tend to say no, try and find a way to always be restrained, because the seatbelt is very, very important. And so they've gone and done a little bit of research, and they've found a product called the Tummy Shield. Now the Tummy Shield is a product that diverts the path of the seatbelt away from the abdomen, and it's actually designed for pregnant ladies, but it's also can potentially have an application in this field, and they've described and they've asked, is it legal and is it okay to use, even if it's not a pregnant person? So first of all, the answers to that question I will provide, and then I'll show you how the Tummy Shield works and explain kind of the regulations around that and so on. So first of all, yes, it's okay to use that product. However, it's okay to use that product. So before I go on, actually, I want to say that I'm not associated with those companies. We don't have any endorsements or sponsorships, or we don't work with them, or not trying to promote or not promote them or say good or bad things. We're just trying to provide information about regulations, not about the company. So basically, the way it works is it's okay to use a product like the Tummy Shield or any other product like that, no problems, but it must have compliance with the Australian standards around the seatbelts or ADRs. And so what we mean by that is that it's not a seatbelt, so it doesn't comply with the seatbelt standards. So if you go and ask them and say, hey, does your product comply with seatbelt standards or any standards? No, it doesn't. It's not going to comply with those standards. But what the point is that the seatbelt in the vehicle is compliant to a certain set of standards, and it works in a certain way. And so what the products that you're putting on top of the seatbelt, what they have to do, or what they can't do, is they can't interfere with that approval. They can't interfere with the performance. So sometimes what happens is a company like a Tummy Shield company, what they'll have to do is they will have to do a test on the seatbelt after this product is installed to make sure the seatbelt still functions correctly. And in terms of that kind of testing information, you have to just verify that with the company. So for example, in this particular product, Tummy Shield, I personally had a look on their website. It said something it said something that they do have some testing or something along those lines. So it looked like it was, legitimate. And so my next port of call would be to contact them before I buy it and say, hey, do you have any testing around the Australian design rules to demonstrate that, it doesn't affect the seatbelt and I can actually use it in Australia with the seatbelts and there's no problems. And if they answer yes, it's no problem, and here's the documentation, or we can verify that it is, then you're all good to go. So you don't have to worry about it, but what you want to make sure is we're not interfering the existing system in the car and how it's working, because it's very sophisticated and it's crash tested, and we want it to make sure it works properly. So what do we mean by this Tummy Shield product? Just so you can get a bit of an idea what it is, and you might find that, in your job when you're looking at this actually could be a very useful product. So I'll show you a photo that I downloaded from their website. Don't know if you can see that very clearly. You can see there's a V that goes under the abdomen, and that hook basically is something that the occupant sits on, and then the seatbelt goes through the hook. So when there is an accident, the force of the belt doesn't go directly onto the abdomen, it goes down more below the abdomen, right? So if I was to demonstrate that with this seatbelt frame that I've got here, I would put my seatbelt on. And let's say this is sitting up on my abdomen. The Tummy Shield brings this down. So when there is an accident, I'll move forward, and then this will just basically keep me in place. Sort of like a safety harness, if you're doing rock climbing or something like that. So it's kind of trying to get that sort of design rather than the seatbelt design. So basically diverting it to more towards your bottom of the hips, and that's basically how that works. So they sort of sit like that. So that's basically what this product is. And like I said, it's okay to use as long as you get verification that the product will not affect the normal operation of this particular belt. And I just whacked my microphone, so I'm sorry if you heard that. But yeah, that's basically all we need to worry about. So hopefully that helps with your inquiry. Thank you very much for sending in those questions. Keep them coming in. And as I say, hit that subscribe button down there and help us get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. Thanks very much and see you next time.